Hi, Ugly Grandma here, and today I'm going to be discussing the books that I bought in the month of July. I did want to point out that I am in a different location. The last 2 or 3 videos I have done out in my Lego shop, but I decided since this was a booktube video, it might be a good idea to actually show you that I do have books. We are going to be replacing these 2 shorter bookcases back here with one that is nearly 6 feet tall and has 6 shelves, so I'll be able to organize my books a little bit better, which I'm really excited about. Plus there'll be room to grow so I could buy more books. In the month of July, I bought 9 books. The first 4 books that I bought were these here, and I got these at our local thrift store. At the beginning of each month, they run a special where they give 50% off everything in their store. I went in looking for books for our free little library because we have an actual free little library in front of our house. I ended up buying books for myself instead. That was because they had the first 3 books of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. These books were normally $2, but because they were running their half-off special, I got all 3 of these for $1, and they're hardback, and I have to say, they're like in mint condition. I was really surprised. There's no tears on the covers or anything of these books. I was very, very happy to get these. The other book I got is sort of part of a series. I actually have the second book, but I have never read the first book, and that is Bridget Jones' Diary. So now I have both of those books in my collection, so I can read both of those as well. The next one I got was from Ivory Chapters. I joined Ivory Chapters a couple of months ago. A friend was telling me about the Blind Date with a Book. I'd never heard of that, and she told me about Ivory Chapters, so I went out and signed up. I just love the fact that I had no idea what I was getting, and it comes in this pretty little package that you get to unwrap, and you get a pin and bookmarks and all kinds of little goodies with it. This month I got the book The Fervor, which this one I had never heard of. It is actually a historical fiction horror novel. Also 2 genres I never thought I would hear together. I'm anxious to read this one because I've always enjoyed horror novels. I'm a big Stephen King fan, if you can't tell from the 2 rows behind me. There's actually almost 4 rows of Stephen King books behind me. And just recently, I have been getting into historical fiction books. I've read quite a few that I have really enjoyed, so I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing how those 2 genres mix in this book. I think, as I mentioned in a couple of videos back, that we went to storage and pulled out all my books, which is why I have all these books behind me. We pulled them out of storage. They had been in storage for 19 years, I believe, ever since I moved in with my now husband. And we are going to be celebrating our 14th anniversary next month. So they've been in storage a long time. I went through all my Stephen King books, and I had thought that I had all the books of his up through like the year 2000, 2002, somewhere in there. But as I was going through and looking at the books I had, I realized that I was missing some of his earlier books. It's very possible that there is another box in storage, and I will regret buying what I did, but I went ahead and bought 3 of his earlier novels to fill out my collection because, as I've mentioned, I'm attempting to read his books in publication order. Although I did get to looking the other day, and as many books as he has, if I only read 1 a month, it will take me 9 years to get through all his books. So hopefully I can read 2 or 3 a month and be a little bit ahead of that schedule. But because I was missing these, I went ahead and bought them. I bought Salem's Lot, Night Shift, and The Talisman. I am almost positive I had these 2 books, so I have a feeling when we go to clean out our storage unit, I'm going to find a box with these 2 in it. But I gotta say, I really did enjoy reading this one. I finished this one at the beginning of the month, and I love the fact that it's got a little bit bigger print I have a lot of Stephen King mass paperbacks. Right now I'm reading The Shining in a mass paperback book that was probably published in the late 70s or the early 80s. Being older, I'm noticing I'm having a harder time reading that small print in those mass paperbacks. So I was almost glad I got this one so that it was a little bit easier to read, a little bit easier on my eyes. Those were the three that I bought off of Amazon to replace what's missing. That's why there's these big gaps back here, because that's where the books go on the shelf. The last book that I bought, or I actually ordered this at the same time as the Stephen King books, but it came from a seller and not directly from Amazon. And that was the book that I just reviewed in my last video, which is The Law of Gravity. It's a replacement book from one that I had when I was a kid. Out of all of those, the only one that I have read so far has been Salem's Lot. I have a lot of other books that I have on my TBR. Right now, my TBR is Stephen King and books that I have borrowed from either from work or even from my own free little library, because my neighbor has been putting good books in there. I want to read those books. So I have borrowed a bunch of those. So those are going to be on my TBR as well. Now I have a huge long TBR list that I really need to start reading through some of those books. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you bought any books in the last month or so, let me know in the comments below, or if there's any good reads coming up on your TBR, I'd like to know that too. Thank you for taking the time and watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.